All right, Slick Vic, you know what that sound means? First, we heard the thunder, the Thursday Night Thunder, a.k.a. Wrestling with Power. Then you hear the WWE bell. I'm Mr. Mosley. Right over there is
Slick Vic in the house.
Slick Vic. So, we finally made it, brother. We're here. This is episode 10. Can you believe it?
10 times.
10 times. We're going to have to start counting on our toes from here on out. This is a big one. This is the Wrestlepalooza review episode. We just had our big Wrestlepalooza event, first PLE on ESPN.
Yeah, Wrestling with Power is on ESPN right now, too. Look at this. Should we start hawking the app?
No. I think R-Truth did a good enough job of that this past Friday night.
I noticed as I went back and watched some of the replay on SmackDown, they cut out all the ESPN hawking.
Really?
Yeah, thank God. I was like, man, this is getting unbearable now.
It was cringe.
Yeah.
It was pretty cringe. But I think that I guess we'll talk about that when we get to Wrestlepalooza, but the whole thing was just kind of botched. I mean, the event was okay, but getting there, the app, the everything, and it's still kind of botched because I think a lot of people are either not on board or they don't know how to get on board. So.
Yeah. Man, I really lament the days of the WWE network from like 10 years ago.
Oh, I know.
That was such a great interface. It was easy to navigate. It was a magical time when us wrestling fans had everything we ever wanted.
I mean, it was an app. Yeah, it was the WWE app. I mean, you didn't have to get it by buying something else that's 98% other crap that I don't care about. I don't watch sports, Vic. I'll be the first to admit I don't care about. I mean, I'll watch a University of Kentucky game every once in a while because if you live in Kentucky, I mean, you're just kind of preconditioned to like University of Kentucky. That's just kind of how it is. But other than that, I don't give a shit, man. I'll watch the Super Bowl just because everybody watches the Super Bowl, so why not? You know. Beyond that, I don't care. Are there any sports that you actually follow that you watch?
You know, I've not anymore. I used to follow the Bears more closely. I used to follow the Bulls when I was young because Michael Jordan was like God.
Yeah.
And but yeah, that's about it. I don't really watch as much. I mean, if somebody invites me over, hey, we're going to so and so's place to watch the Bears or the Bulls or the Blackhawks. Yeah, sure, I'll go. Or even work outings. We had a couple of work outings where we went to Bulls games, and those were a lot of fun. Watching it in person is actually it's quite fun.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to go out of my way to watch it on TV.
Yeah. Well, you have the luxury of having, you know, where you're from too. You have several pro level teams that you can follow and get into. I don't really have that. So we have college basketball here. That's as far as it goes for us. But that's it, man. I mean, like, I don't watch NASCAR. There's a lot of people around here that are into NASCAR. I don't care about NASCAR. So you got this WWE, you got this ESPN app that now the WWE has moved all of their PLEs over to. Was on Peacock, which, again, you know, Peacock is still 98% other crap, and then you've got the WWE stuff thrown in there, obviously, because they paid them a bunch of money to put the WWE stuff on. And it made sense, but it was like $10, $12 a month, and it was another one of these streaming apps that's like a Netflix clone. So, you know, and I have several of those. I have Paramount Plus, I have Netflix, I have Hulu now, I have Peacock 4 now. And so, you know, if there's a movie, an old movie that you want to watch, and you just go on Google and you say, where's this streaming? It may pop up in one of those 4 places, or maybe even on Tubi. You know, but it's sort of like, I think Peacock was a better platform for the consumer because there was more that the average person could find interesting on there. If you're not into sports, the ESPN app is useless.
Yep.
besides WWE.
Yeah. With Peacock, at least there was somewhat of a library of movies that interested me. Oh, look, Nosferatu's out on
Yeah,
Peacock. I'm gonna rewatch that. Or See No Evil's out. I'm gonna go watch that.
yeah,
Or insert name of a movie.
yeah,
They had like this deal with a certain studio I know that had it get you quick access to movies after it was out of the theater. That was cool.
yeah, yeah. But I can say this though, Vic, having the ESPN app, and that's how I watched Wrestlepalooza. During the pre-show, where it was a lot of interview and stuff like that, the app did crash on me, but I don't know if that was the app or if it was just my TV or something was going on. But it took me back to like the Vizio home screen, right? Like the startup screen of whatever of your smart TV. Other than that, while the event was going on, it never lagged, it never crashed. It looked great. And the audio and video were spot on. They were never out of sync. So, and the platform loads quicker. It is yet to be seen if it's a more easier to navigate, but it already seems like it's going to be a little bit easier to navigate than Peacock. That was my main problems with Peacock. It was stupid to navigate, stupid to try to find anything on there, especially when you go from the WWE network to having it all shoved in this one thing. And the app was kind of crappy. I mean, the platform was kind of crappy.
Yeah.
Wasn't up
Slow.
to the quality wasn't there as far as like a Netflix top platform or, of course, ESPN. And I got thinking about that, and I'm like, well, it makes sense because I don't think that live TV is the strong suit of a lot of these streaming services, Peacock, Paramount. Even though they do have live TV options, I don't think people get those for live TV. And so, obviously, live programs are probably not going to be very up to par, but ESPN, where people get that and want to watch games live, that platform is tailor-made for that type of thing. So maybe it was a good move, after all. Not good for my wallet, but as far as the platform and the quality of it and everything, yeah, man, I mean, it was good. It was good. I liked it.
It's good to hear.
Top tier.
I remember having some issues though. Actually, this might have been back during the early days of the WWE Network, where at times if you're watching something live, I don't know, my picture quality would dip. I don't know if you had that problem.
Kind of looked like a JPEG image for a few moments.
Yeah, pretty much.
I always thought that was just an internet issue. Like your internet was just slowing way down and then having to pick back up.
Could be.
I don't know.
Yeah, but I never had that problem when I was watching something that wasn't live, but it is what it was.
Yeah, well, yeah. But no, I mean, like I say, I mean, that was something I noticed right off the bat was I think it is better quality, but again, how you go about getting this, and I think they have some fixing up to do to make it a little bit more user friendly across the board, man, because there's so many different ways that you gotta get all kinds of different crap to be able to watch everything. You can't have two or three things in one place. It's like you got to have a variety of apps and ways to see all this stuff. So I'll tell you what I did. I had Disney already. I'd been paying for Disney for the kids. I don't care about Hulu. I've never liked Hulu. I don't think there was anything ever in history on Hulu that I wanted to see, or I never had a reason to have Hulu for any particular reason. Other than that Predator movie that came out, it was exclusive to Hulu a couple of years ago. Now that I wanted to watch, but other than that, man, Hulu is just, I never cared for it. But I already had Disney, $15 a month, 16, whatever it is. And then the ESPN app itself is $30, or you can bundle with the Disney and the Hulu for $30 for like 12 months or whatever, 6 months or 9 months, whatever it is. So that's what I did. I just went ahead and bundled it up. So I'm out an extra $15 instead of an extra 30, and I have Hulu that I'm never going to watch. So I'm okay.
Well, let me recommend the Hellraiser movie on Hulu that came out in 2022. It's pretty good.
Exclusive?
Yep, it was a Hulu exclusive.
Cool. Yeah, I'll have to check that out. I'm going to make a notation of that. Hellraiser. I probably already watched it, to be honest with you, but I just probably don't remember. Sometimes, Vic, I'm sure you know the feeling. I do this a lot because I like to watch a variety of horror movies, as I know you do. And they could be shitty. If it's just a horror movie that I haven't seen and I'm like, oh, that looks interesting. It's kind of like the old effect when you're going through the video rental store. You remember those good old days? And the horror movies had the best cover art ever. It could be
Yeah.
the shittiest horror movie you've ever seen, but the cover art would look fantastic and you just have to have it. And it's sort of the same thing these days. I think they still do that on purpose. They try to draw you in with this cover art.
Yeah.
So I end up watching a lot of movies, and I end up inebriated for a lot of these movies. And so, like, later on, I'll go back and watch them again, and I'll remember bits and pieces, or, like, I'll sit there and watch the entire movie, and then I'll see the ending, and I'll be like, wait, I watched this. Because I was off my ass for the whole movie, and it doesn't click until the end of it.
Man, I remember walking through the video store. As I mentioned in episode 1, I got a lot of my wrestling education from walking through the video store and just renting everything they had in the wrestling section. But I remember walking through the horror section, and I always see the cover for Ghoulies.
Huh.
And it's the one ghoulie coming out of the toilet with the tagline that says, "They'll get you in the end."
Yeah, yeah. That was a good one. Classic. I remember, do you remember Demons? You know the movie Demons? With
Yeah.
Angela that turns into the demon and stuff?
Yeah. It's been a while.
Those had some of the best cover art ever. You're going to have to Google the cover art. 1, 2, and 3, they're all great. You can actually get 1 and 2 on streaming, but 3 is not available on streaming right now.
Okay. I know what you're talking about. Night of the Demons.
Night of the Demons, yeah. Night of the Demons, yeah.
There is actually a Demons movie as well from the 80s, which is completely different. It's an Italian movie. Well, it's in English, but it's made by Italians. Dario Argento. I don't know if you, but yeah. But no, yeah, I've seen Night of the Demons. I remember Angela dancing.
Yeah. Good scene. Good scene.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
What a movie, man. Those are some fucking classics right there. I'm gonna have to go back and watch those. Dead Alive. I have Dead Alive. I bought that on DVD. You remember that? The cover where she's opening her mouth, there's like a skull.
I have that on my shelf too. It's Peter Jackson.
It's the sickest movie ever, is it not?
It's something, all right. The freaking lawnmower scene at the end.
Yeah, the lawnmower scene, the custard scene where her like big boil pops into that dude's bowl of custard and he eats it and then he gets sick.
Oh man,
zombies are humping on the table and then they have a disgusting zombie baby and they throw it in the blender. Good times.
Man, Peter Jackson, before he did that too, he had a movie called Bad Taste, where the VHS cover art is like the alien like giving the middle finger. But some video stores, they would censor it, so like they would be like a Velcro on finger, so he'd be like this instead of like this.
Yeah.
You know? So it'd be a Velcro finger on so it looks like he was just going like this.
Yeah. Oh, that's sweet, man. Now that one I don't know. I'm gonna have to check that one out.
I haven't seen it. I just remember the VHS box art.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, man. Those box arts are golden, man. They pull you in. Friday the 13th always had interesting box art, even though sometimes it didn't make sense. Like you had A New Beginning had that weird Jason mask on it that they didn't use at all. It was like weird. And
you can't see it here, but I do have the cover of the first Friday the 13th on my wall, which I'm staring at right now.
Oh, okay. Which
a good one.
Wait, which cover are we talking about now? The first one. What did it have on it?
It was like a silhouette of the killer holding a knife, and inside like the body of the killer is the campgrounds, and you see
the kids. You see the cabin in it and stuff like that.
Yeah, there's a cabin and a bunch of counselors in front of it.
Yeah,
and they're like, yeah.
Two had the silhouette, but he was holding something different, right?
An axe. Yeah.
And then 3,
but there's nobody inside the body.
Right. 3 was the 3D one, so it was like he was stabbing with the thing, right?
Yeah, coming out of a shower.
If I remember correctly. Yeah. Good shit, man. We could talk about this all night. We got a few wrestling. We'll talk about some wrestling too. We got a few shows to talk about here.
I think we're supposed to talk about wrestling, right?
Yeah, at some point, I think we will. Although I will say that the past couple of episodes that we've done, our esteemed episode artist took a lot of inspiration from the non-wrestling discussion that we had.
Yeah.
What a guy. What a talent.
Oh man, he's that's why we have him around, because he's really good and we pay him well.
Yeah, we do, for sure. But let's get into well, I don't know. Let's see. How do you want to do this tonight, Vic? Do you want to do we probably should have discussed this beforehand, but I don't care. So, we're going to have the SmackDown review, obviously. My notes are ass. Yeah. I've got the episode.
Yeah, let me cover SmackDown. I will I'll go through that.
Okay, so that's going to be we got SmackDown from September the 19th. Mm-hmm. Then we have Wrestlepalooza, which happened on Saturday, September the 20th, and then Monday Night Raw, which happened on Monday, the 22nd, which was a few days ago. In that order. And Vic, do you want to do, because this is the big PLE. We got to do Slick Vic's picks, the results of the picks. Do you want to do those during? Do you want to do them before? Do you want to do them after? How do you want to do the picks tonight, Vic?
Let's do them during. Okay. As we cover each match, we'll give it the good or the bad.
Give it the good or the bad. Yeah, we'll get
the
that.
Plus or the minus.
Awesome. Good deal. All right. I'm glad we got a show now. So, Slick Vic, take it away.
SmackDown on September 19th, 2025 in Toledo, Ohio. So, the show starts with Michael Cole leaving the announce table saying Brock Lesnar wants to do the sit-down interview now. I guess they were going to plan it midway through the show or something of that nature. As Cole is leaving halfway down the aisle, Brock Lesnar comes out. He's smiling. He's waving his hat. It's almost like he's doing a babyface entrance, but then he grabs Michael Cole and carries him around the ring, then dumps him into the ring and threatens him. And then Corey Graves comes out and tries to talk Lesnar down and suffers an AA for the consequence for his efforts. Poor Corey, we grieve for you. Brock then yells into the camera that he's coming for Cena. It's D-Day, and I'm coming for blood. Brock goes outside and destroys the Prime card table, which gets cheers. I mean, come on. I mean, if you're trying to be a heel, that is not the way to do it. But I enjoyed it. That was fun to watch. Then he goes inside and gives Corey another F5. Brock then leaves, and then he bumps into Paul Heyman, who we haven't seen since SummerSlam, and tells him, we need to talk. Nick Aldis teleports into the scene and says he doesn't want any more mischief tonight, just wants a contract signing. And then we cut back to Michael Cole, who grieves for Corey Graves and is worried for Cena's chances on Sunday. What did you think of this whole opening segment from SmackDown, Mosley?
Well, I thought it was a crazy way to start the show. I also think that Corey sold the hell out of that F5. I loved how he sold it. He didn't flop it. He didn't act crazy and do any over the top stuff. He just landed and died. Like he landed and went limp. It was a great sell by Corey. That first F5. The second one was good too, but the first one was especially good. My thoughts though, I mean, why the hell is Brock so upset? Did we ever find out why Brock wants to destroy Cena so bad?
Not to my knowledge.
I don't think so. I think this has been one of the worst builds that I can remember to a main event level match in recent memory. And Brock's just coming out. Like he came out, he destroyed R-Truth a week ago. He comes out tonight, he attacks the announcers. He wants John Cena. He wants to kill John Cena. Like John Cena shot his dog. But John Cena didn't do anything. Brock's he's just pissed.
Yeah.
And he kills Corey Graves. I think I know why he killed Corey Graves, and we'll find that out a little bit later when we talk about Wrestlepalooza. But yeah, it was a crazy way to start the show. I don't think that it really got too much heat on Brock because it's still like, okay, well, Brock's just doing something crazy. I did like the backstage thing with Paul Heyman, though. That was interesting. I liked that. That made me feel like it was going somewhere.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, although the last time we saw them together, I could have sworn, hey, they were on opposite sides, but we'll forget that. Anyways,
We forget all kinds of stuff these days. That's just how WWE is. Something happens, it doesn't make sense because something happened. Don't worry about what happened before. Forget all that.
Yeah. I forgot, where were we going with this? I'm kidding. All right. So moving along, we got Charlotte and Alexa teaming up against Chelsea Green and Alba Fire. So the match begins with Charlotte and Alexa with some quick tag team moves, and then the heels make their comeback. Alba Fire swung Alexa's head into the post for a nice spot, and then we go to break. We come back, and the Miz has replaced Corey on commentary. Hooray for the Miz. Chelsea hits a corner shoulder tackle. Alba Fire tags herself in by smacking Chelsea's hips. Lots of fast-paced action here. Charlotte is a house of fire hitting chops and a forward roll clothesline, which looked really smooth. The heels take over. Alba hits an okay-looking swanton bomb on Charlotte, and that's not the first time we're going to see that move this weekend. A good chop block by Charlotte leads to a double natural selection from her and Alexa, which gets the babyfaces the win. I thought it was a decent match, short and to the point, and everyone looked good. So, not a lot of complaints. Just your run-of-the-mill match on SmackDown. Any thoughts?
Well, I don't know if you mentioned it, but this was actually a title match. This was for the WWE Women's Tag Team Championship, and that sort of goes right into my thoughts that it was a very short match. I thought Alba and Chelsea done great. But as for the match as a whole, I feel like it was just a quick high spot match to bring the crowd up a bit, maybe from what had happened earlier with the announcers and Brock and all that. I end it with a question. Why is it so easy to get title matches in this division? Normally, you have to work for that.
Yeah, but don't you? They begged Nick Aldis for it last week. I remember that much, and okay. I guess he got sick of the pandering.
Okay, so there was some build to that. Okay, my bad. Well, still, they
it was not that much build. Don't worry. Don't beat yourself up that much.
Titles mean so much less, and we even see a little bit more of that later on, which we'll talk about when we get there. But yeah, it was short, it was quick, it was to the point. There wasn't anything special about it.
All right, so backstage, B-Fab tells the Street Profits that they need to patch things up. Then she walks off. Then Street Profits look like they're like, all right, we're cool. Then Montez Ford walks off, and then Bo Dallas randomly shows up and tries to instigate things, says he's here to guide lost souls, and then Montez shows up to, back him into a corner. And then, Bo Dallas is on a quest to find the right path, and then cackles, and then Eric Rowan shows up to take out the Street Profits. Now, I have a little story to tell you, a little quick little sidebar that relates to this segment. I missed Wrestlepalooza live on Saturday because I was at a concert. The concert was for a band called Powerwolf. And if you follow them on social media, which I do, Eric Rowan showed up on their feet on a video today where him and the singer from the band kind of had like a little interaction. They had a brief little, interaction. That's all I'm going to say.
So he was there?
He wasn't at the show. No,
oh, okay.
I guess somehow Eric was in Minneapolis and he just happened to be at their show that night. And they decided, hey, let's do something with the singer from Powerwolf and Eric Rowan. So they had like a 30-second little skirmish online. Cool. That's all. Yeah. And then R-Truth is hawking the ESPN app with Los Garza, which was cut from replay, thank God. But I remember catching that live. All right. So then moving along, we got Fraxium come out to apparently have a match, but it's interrupted by the Brawns. and Heyman. Heyman just cuts a promo where he badmouths the Usos, even talks in Samoan a bit. How's your Samoan, Mosley? Is it sharp? Is it crisp? Is it good?
Oh, it's flat as hell.
Okay. Anyways, but then the Fraxium mounts a bit of a comeback. They all be able to jump off the top ropes and hit the bronze. And then, sure enough, Nick Aldis comes and makes the match official. Now, the match isn't entirely a squash, as Fraxium did get some offense in, and Nathan Frazier's flipping all over the place, try to get some moves in, and also selling moves like crazy. But a spear and a tsunami to each member of Fraxium gets the heels the win. Match was nothing special, but it served its purpose to make the Bronze look strong heading into their match against the Usos. And then speaking of which, the Usos show up on the Titantron. Is it still called that? Is it still called the Titantron? Or
That's
is it
what
just
I call it.
The screen?
I like Titantron better.
Me too. They're already in Indy, and they're hyping up their match, and they welcome the Bronze to the Uso Penitentiary. Yeet. All right. Any thoughts on the proceedings?
I thought it was decent. I thought it was a quick high spot match like the women's match before it, but honestly, I think this had better spots. This was a pretty decent little match here, and you really get to see Fraxium perform. I think the masked guy, who's the masked guy?
That's Axiom.
Axiom, of course, because it's Fraxium. I was trying to figure it out, and honestly, in my notes, I put masked guy every time I was talking about him. But this is, and I paid attention to Nathan Frazier. I remember you saying how fast he was, and I had never paid attention before, but you really see it in this match, man. He's like bouncing off one rope and hitting, bouncing off the other, and going back and forth. And yeah, it was wild. But yeah, I thought it was decent. I thought they got a good little showing in here, but the point was for the Bronze to kill him, and that's basically what happened, and point taken.
Yep. Served its purpose.
Mm-hmm.
Nia Jax comes out. She calls Toledo disgusting. She's sick of the women's division. So she says she's the real alpha female of the division and mocks Tiffy time and says Jade could really use her in-ring ability. Sure. But and Tiffany Stratton comes out and says nobody wants Nia near the title. I kind of agree. I think we both said Nia's got kind of go-away heat. So thank you for that, Tiffy. And then Jade comes out, beats some officials who try to hold her back. And Nick Aldis comes out and makes a triple threat match next week for the Women's Championship. We got Tiffany Stratton versus Jade Cargill versus Nia Jax. So this is another little impromptu little sidebar here because that's a major match. I think it deserves a little look at the old crystal ball. Wait a minute. Should we talk about who's in front of the crystal ball first?
We should. We're going to pause for just a moment to talk about Vic's gimmick.
Hey, we should have done this at the start. We were talking about our horror movies.
You need to remind me of this stuff.
Man, look at him. He's so mad now. He's judging you.
He's turning green.
Have you seen Gremlins?
Yeah, I love Gremlins.
Is it high up there in your list of favorite Christmas movies?
I wouldn't. No, honestly, it's not. It probably should be, but I love Gremlins.
Okay.
So he's got what is it exactly, Vic? What is that thing that you have there?
Just a little. I don't exactly remember what it is.
For the listeners and those who aren't actually watching the video, what do you have?
It's a small little figurine of Gizmo. I can't read the logo at the bottom. It's really tiny.
Yeah, there's no chance. Got a little Gizmo figure.
Yeah, here's a Mogwai for everybody on camera.
Nice.
I'm a big fan of Gremlins 2. I think I prefer that one over the first one because it's like a live action Looney Tunes cartoon.
Yeah.
But part one definitely is more horror, more scarier.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, Gremlins 2. I'm still waiting for part 3. It's been 30 something years, I think. I don't know if we'll get it. Keep getting teases. We get teases about it all the time. But anyways, that's Gizmo. Sleep tight.
All right.
Don't feed him after midnight.
Yeah.
All right. Which brings me back to my reoccurring gimmick here. We got
yeah, my bad. Had to cue up the entrance music.
I can't do my pick without it, man. All right.
It does invoke a certain magic when you listen to that.
I need the green potion here to build up my
your meter
mana.
Yeah.
But
we got the crystal ball over here. So I guess Vic, you're going to give us a little Vic's picks for this match next week.
Yeah, this is a big match because the winner of this match not only is the women's champion. I mean, granted, Tiffy's already the women's champion, but the winner goes on to face Stephanie Vicaire at Crown Jewel for the Women's Crown Jewel Championship. So, what's it going to be? I am picking Tiffany Stratton to retain the world or the Women's Championship. What say you, Mosley? Do you have a pick? And what did you think of this segment?
Well, I can't say that I'm looking forward to the match. I'm still bothered by the fact that these titles are just getting put on the line on a whim. You know, when we have entire PLEs designed around winning a number one contendership, here on a random SmackDown, they're just gonna, all right, you're in the title match next week for the main women's championship on the show. That bothered me a little bit. I don't think that Tiffany's going to end up losing it. If she does, I think that if Tiffany loses it, she might lose it to Nia. Just because that would be so annoying, and I could see that happening. But yeah, I don't know. I'm not looking forward to it. I don't necessarily know why it needs to happen. Why do we need to have this match instead of just building more tension to the actual Crown Jewel Championship match? I would rather see Tiffany in that feud. You know, I would rather see her with Stephanie trying to maybe cut a promo, or, you know, I don't know. I would rather see anything else, Vic. I'm not excited about it.
Okay. I'm sort of thinking Nia is thrown in just to eat the pin, so Tiffany doesn't beat Jade for the third straight time.
That's a good point. I want to see Tiffany body slam Nia and pin her out in the middle.
I mean, if Jade did it, let's see if Tiffany can do it.
Jade can body slam the Empire State Building. I mean, look at her.
But yeah, I think I am predicting Tiffany, even though that leads to another babyface versus babyface match. But yeah, that's my pick.
Okay.
Moving along, we have Carmelo Hayes versus Sami Zayn for the U.S. title. All right. This was a good one. We're gonna address some criticisms we had last week, or at least I am. The match starts off with some back and forth action. Melo hits a nice drop kick. Sami responds with a big fist to the face. Melo hits a behind the back springboard leg drop. The Miz, as you expect, is cheering for Carmelo really hard. Sami comes back with a big clothesline, an axe handle off the top, a tornado DDT, and even a Michinoku driver, which got a big pop out of me. I thought that looked pretty damn good, really smooth. Melo replies with a big running knee, a super kick. He blocks the exploder suplex and hits the springboard apron DDT, followed by a frog splash. How many people in the WWE do frog splashes right now? There's Logan Paul, there's Carmelo, Dominic Mysterio. When you think of the frog splash, who comes to mind?
Eddie Guerrero.
Who's Eddie Guerrero? Yeah. It's probably gonna be Rob Van Dam with me, but no, I think Eddie's number one, Rob's number two.
Yeah, Eddie had the best one, I think. Rob's was good, but he would always sell it like he broke his own ribs, and that kind of got. I mean, I know that was his thing, but yeah, I liked Eddie's.
Rob's elevation was just unheard of at the time. Now, you know, Logan Paul gets a lot of height as well, but when Rob did it way back then, it was like, holy crap, he's gonna jump out of the building.
Yeah.
Anyways, back to the match. Melo hits the first 48 and only gets a 2. And then we get a whole series of counters. Sami finally hits a haluva kick type big boot, followed by a blue thunder bomb for the pin. My thoughts. This was great. Much better than Sami's match against Rey Fenix the previous week. This was the back and forth action that we should have seen in that match, where both men got their shit in and looked good. I know Sami wasn't going to lose. I think he will keep the belt for a while, and that's okay. If we have matches like this for several weeks, I'm in. What do you think?
Same, man. Same. I mean, you pretty much took the words right out of my mouth. Last week we both critiqued it the same way. There was too much. There was too much Rey Fenix offense, not enough offense from the champion himself. This one was very even, and you really got to see what Melo has to offer. So I liked it. I liked it a lot. It was really good.
Yeah. All right. Backstage, Damian Priest tells Nick Aldis that he demands a match with Aleister Black, and Kit Wilson from the God, what's that tag? Pretty Deadly was there for some reason. He says Damian's behavior is toxic, and Priest throws Kit through a wall for that. Awesome. Aldis says, "What's wrong with you?" And Cole says he's obviously toxic. So I'm sure we're going to have another match with Damian Priest and Aleister Black. And I quickly want to point out that the video package that WWE put together for John Cena and Brock was fantastic, because WWE's always been really, really good at these things. Whoever does these video packages, top notch, top marks. You guys deserve a raise. Good stuff. And then there's another video package, though, for Solo Sikoa, where he puts over Tonga Loa very strongly, too. And I'm like, oh, man, what happened to the other two guys from the group? Unless he's going to put them over one by one. We didn't see JC Mateo or Tala Tonga. But, all right, Tonga Loa loves Solo. All right. And now, finally, the main event, which isn't a match. It's a contract signing between Drew McIntyre and Cody Rhodes. Cody reminds us that 15 years ago, the two of them won the WWE Tag Team Championship. And I remember them bringing this up in a promo once, maybe a year ago. And I was like, wow, they were actually Tag Team Champions? I had to go back and look that up. And sure enough, they were. They both look completely different, but they were definitely Tag Team Champions at one point. But Cody says, we don't need to know all the lore. Well, I still decided to go look it up. Anyways, sometimes we just want to watch two people fight. Cody says lately Drew is not a Scottish warrior, but a keyboard warrior. That was a great freaking line there. Good stuff. And he tells Drew to pull out his phone and use social media. And Drew actually does that and posts on, I think it was X. He says, "Thank you, Cody." Drew gets on the mic and says he's happy that he finally gets a one-on-one match for the WWE title. And then and then he tells Cody that the fans will eventually turn on him. They both sign the contract. Drew headbutts Cody and threatens to Claymore Cody through the table again, but stops himself. Cody revives himself and then dives after Drew through the ring, and they brawl to go off the air. I thought it was a pretty good segment. I mean, this actually got me interested in the match, because this was literally like the only buildup, other than Cody just coming out at the final seconds of last week saying, "Yeah, I'll see you at Wrestlepalooza." So this had me interested. What about you? Did it get you hyped at all for the main event?
I mean, it did a little bit, but I still feel like there was little to no build for this match for me to really care. And obviously it was because Cody's been gone, right? He's been gone filming Street Fighter. You couldn't be there to try to cut promos. But when Cody mentioned that they were tag team champions, and then I remembered like the group, they were actually, it wasn't just them two, right? Weren't they in a group together with someone else, I think? Or maybe
are you sure you're not confusing that with Legacy?
I know they were with Legacy, but that was Orton and Rhodes and Ted DiBiase.
Yes.
But I think I'm confusing that with the group that Drew was in with the redheaded guy that I can't think of his name right now, but it was a stupid. They were called like
3MB.
3MB. Yeah, okay, so I'm getting a little mixed up here, but yeah, that was all around, well, I don't know if it was around the same time. Anyway, there's a lot of history here with Cody and Drew. When they came in, when they came up, they both had to leave in order to come back and be big stars, and this could be a really well-hyped, well-built main event match for the title, but it's not, because Cody hasn't been here. They haven't had time to tell that story, and it just falls flat. And it's kind of unfortunate because, like I say, they could really pull some stuff out of the archives and build this thing up if they wanted to. Maybe they will in the future. I hope they do, because there's a lot there that they could fall back on. But yeah, it just seems like it was thrown together. It didn't really make me look forward to the match any more than I already did, which wasn't very much.
Okay. That brings up a good point. They could really tie in a lot of the whole, these two guys had to leave the company and build themselves up and then come back as bigger stars, because I think these are the two biggest examples of that.
Yeah, I agree. They've walked very similar paths, I think. And
Yep.
like I say, there's a lot there. It's already written for them if they wanted to use it, but unfortunately, this wasn't the time to do that, I guess, or maybe they just didn't do it right. I don't know. Who knows?
Well, that concludes SmackDown in Toledo, Ohio on the 19th of September. Mr. Mosley, would you like to lead us into Wrestlepalooza?
I will lead us into Wrestlepalooza. Vic, do you want to what of Wrestlepalooza do you want to? Because listen, I'm just going to go ahead and say this right away. My notes for Wrestlepalooza are a little bit extensive when it comes to these matches, some of them. So I don't want to get too carried away. Do you have any particular matches that you would like to go over with this event?
I'll tell you what. I will do the I'll do the second match and the third match.
Okay, so you're going to take Bronze versus Usos and the Women's World Championship match.
Yeah.
All right,
I'll
good
do
deal.
that.
And also, while we do this, we're going to be going over Vic's picks. And because of that, I've got some new little sound bites ready to go.
Oh, boy.
Oh, yeah. So Wrestlepalooza, again, as we mentioned before, this was the first PLE on ESPN, the ESPN app, ESPN Unlimited, they're calling it. And it seems like it was really rushed. This was a 5-match card, as opposed to, at least in recent memory, they've been having 6-match cards. And, we've got 2 big matches on this event. We've got John Cena versus Brock Lesnar, which again has had very little build. They've got the history, and they've been doing the video packages to build this thing up. But there's still really no explanation as to why Brock comes back so mad, wanting to kill everybody in his path just to beat up John Cena. And then, of course, we have well, not the World Championship, the WWE Undisputed WWE Championship, which we just talked about a moment ago, Drew McIntyre and Cody Rhodes. And then, there's the vacant Women's World title, too. So a lot of big matches on here. You've got the mixed tag match. You got the Bronze and the Usos finally are back together. There's a lot to like here, but how did it unfold? I don't know. We'll see. So to start, Indianapolis, Indiana is where they're having this event. We got a new Then, Now, and Forever intro. I liked the old one. The old one didn't last long enough. The whole Constellations thing that they had going on, I like that. I felt like it was a little old school. And, but yeah, I like the old one more. Anyway, then we get the show starts. We're there live. We get a really nice video package of WWE mixing it up with various sports over the years in ESPN, right? WWE always does great with these video packages, as we've mentioned. Then we have Triple H in the ring, and he's hopping up the crowd. He welcomes everyone to Wrestlepalooza, followed by a fireworks show on stage. Then we see a truck pull up backstage, and it's Pat McAfee. Pat's music hits, and he heads to ringside to join commentary. With Michael Cole and Wade Barrett. And again, as we mentioned, Corey Graves got absolutely annihilated by Brock Lesnar. I think that was a way to write him off of Wrestlepalooza so that Pat McAfee could be here. He was only there for a few matches, and I did not take note of what matches he commentated on. But I think that that's why that happened with Corey, because we know how Corey feels about Pat McAfee. All right, then we got the first match of the night, Brock Lesnar versus John Cena. And a lot of people's been looking forward to this one. I think I mentioned on the last episode how I couldn't get out of my mind the SummerSlam deal, where Brock Lesnar just absolutely destroyed Cena and left him laying and won both championships. And think that was the last time we seen the old big gold title. He carried it a little bit, but then they came out with the new design. But yeah, that was the last thing. And you reminded me, Vic, that John Cena has beat Brock Lesnar. He beat him in an Extreme Rules match shortly after Brock returned after his big UFC stint and all that stuff. But here we are. We're at the match. Very little build, but I think people are hyped because it's Cena and it's Brock, and, you know. So Brock's music hits. He heads to the ring in the usual fashion. They hit the fireworks spot with Brock perfect, where he does the little thing, and when he does the, what does he do?
His little entrance taunt thing.
Yeah, I don't remember what he does, if he does like a kick or something. I'm thinking he does something, but they hit the fireworks.
Yeah.
They did it perfectly there. And then Cena comes out with a bunch of kids dressed as him, and I wrote
Cena Maniacs.
The Cena Maniacs. And
there's no Hulkamaniacs here.
Oh, there sure wasn't.
And I said, surely they aren't going to have these children watch Cena get slaughtered live in first person.
No, they wouldn't do that, would they?
Yeah, well, spoiler alert. So John gets his big introduction with Alicia Taylor, and just as Alicia is about to introduce Brock, we hear a familiar voice say, "Ladies and gentlemen," and Paul Heyman appears to give Brock a grand introduction of his own. The bell rings. Cena charges at Brock, who gives him a kick to the midsection and starts pouring on the offense. Brock starts whipping Cena into the turnbuckles, slowing the pace down. Lesnar hits a British Bulldog-like running power slam, followed by the first German suplex of the match. I wrote first here because I didn't know how many we were going to get, and I don't think we got that many. Cena counters a bear hug from Lesnar, lifting him onto his shoulders for an AA, but Lesnar counters into a massive clothesline. Cena finally gets some offense in the form of several shoulder tackles, followed by 1, 2, and then 3 AAs for a near fall. Cena goes for the 5-knuckle shuffle, but Cena gets picked up by Lesnar into an F5, followed by a second, followed by a third. Lesnar takes a momentary breather, then hits Cena with a 4th F5. Lesnar allows Cena to get to his feet before picking him up into a 5th F5, then a 6th, which leads him to a 3-count fall for the win. So, essentially what we have here, ladies and gentlemen, is a squash match. Brock Lesnar absolutely shit all over John Cena on this one. Thoughts? I said it was hard to remember a time these two fought other than the SummerSlam match where Lesnar routed Cena and won both titles, because that was just so crazy to witness. This match was largely the same as that one, although I think Cena got a little more offense here. I think I would have preferred a Cena win here because I just wanted to see how he would pull it off. But instead, we get a mauling by the Beast, which led him to a convincing win. What are your thoughts on this match, Vic?
Well, if the goal was to make Brock Lesnar look like a beast, I think they succeeded. I didn't think this match was as good as to the level of their SummerSlam 2014 match, but it was still quite a dominant showing of Brock Lesnar. The C Nation was crying, man. I didn't mind this match though. It was not quite cinema, but I read a lot of people being displeased about this match. I wasn't displeased. I figured it was. I mean, if like I said, if you're trying to build up Lesnar again, have him squash Cena again, and I think they did a good. That was the point. Mission accomplished. I think we said we're going to count the AAs and what's it called? How many? John hit 3, which has got to be a really low count for a John Cena match.
He only had that was like the only offense he got though, was those 3 AAs. He didn't have a chance to hit anything else.
like Cena, and Lesnar pretty much just like popped right back up after the first 2.
Yeah.
And and then Brock hit 6 F5s.
Yeah, 6.
And then 7, I guess, if you count the one post match. Because after the match, he gave one to the referee, and then he gave another one to John Cena. So just 7 F5s,
just for good measure.
Yeah. That's all I got. That was quite a showing.
I don't get it, man. I don't get why they would have Lesnar, because you and I both picked Cena to win that one. We both thought that Cena would win, that he would somehow find a way to win. Because he's on this retirement tour, why bring Lesnar back if not to have at least a match that is going to be fairly memorable and somehow Cena is going to pull one out? And I think that would have been the better way to go. Of course, in a few months from now, we may be talking a different story depending on what they do with Brock, but I don't know what they're going to do with Brock. How do they throw Brock into anything right now? Everything else is tied up into storylines and stuff that's going on. What else would Brock do here? And Cena's still got a few more matches to go. He just got absolutely destroyed by Brock Lesnar. I just don't see where they're going with it.
I was curious. I was thinking maybe this Cena's last match would be against Brock, where he gets his revenge, so to speak, his retribution for this match.
Okay, that would be a good way to go. Yeah, sure. Yeah, if that happens. Depends, though. I mean, Brock hasn't necessarily been around that. He's been around the past couple of weeks, but after he first showed up, when he first came back, he went like 3 or 4 weeks without showing up or saying anything.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's kind of weird, but anyway, Vic, you picked John Cena to win that one on the picks, and unfortunately,
Damn.
You were wrong.
Well, let's see if my luck, what's it called, improves in this next match here. Because we had the Usos versus the Vision, as we like to affectionately call them, the Bronze. Anyways, it's great seeing the Usos team up again. These guys have got to be in the top 10 greatest tag teams of all times, I think, because these guys are always fun to watch. LA Knight turning his back on the chair from when the chair shot from Jimmy to Bronson was hilarious. Braun's running shoulder tackle is still insane to see. It's just like, good Lord, it's like a freight train who just runs at the guy and jumps like 20 feet, like across the floor. Anyways, and then when the Bronze did where a Braun Breaker climbs onto Bronson's back and they both do like a double splash. In my mind, I'm like, that's a lot of beef. Anyways, Braun mocking his opponents is still funny to me, and it's funny because he never gets booed for it. In fact, then he starts barking, and the crowd starts barking along with him. It's like, what's there to hate about this guy? But on the flip side, the Usos were definitely over, and they looked good. They when they got their shit, and it was fine. And I thought the ending was very dramatic. Let me say that I was going to say the action was good, and so was the storytelling. Jay somehow hit himself with the chair when he swung it on to Breaker, which I didn't catch. I had to like slow down a replay to wonder where he got busted open.
Yeah, hit him in the back.
As Jay was coming down with the chair, he clipped his own head.
I thought he hit him in the back, and it ricocheted back up and hit him.
No, if you go back and watch the replay, like as he's coming down, you can see like
he swung.
Yeah, he clips himself, I think, with like the leg of the chair.
Yeah, he got himself good.
Yeah, I saw the pictures on social media afterwards. So yeah, I really like the final seconds of the match where basically Jay got speared and tsunami'd by the heels. At the same time, right before that, Jimmy got speared through a table, and the table like folds over Jimmy just as the tsunami hits. So it's like, he's buried under a table, so to speak.
Yeah.
And Jay takes the pin. That was cool. What about you? Did you think this match was cool, great, indifferent, hot, cold, shit, fire, whatever?
A little bit of fire, actually. I thought this match was like watching a whole box full of fireworks go off at once. Like somebody just lit the whole box. It was really kind of hard to follow and take notes for. There were so many big spots, but having said that, this was a banger of a match, and it's one that I might actually go back and rewatch without, having to worry about this and that and what happened and all that. because it was a really good match. Not directly getting involved, but allowing so much to go on without calling a DQ. Did they say that this was a no disqualification match? I don't think they did.
Yeah.
I think he just let this stuff happen.
I guess, because, yeah, there was a whole lot of weapons being used.
Yeah. But anyway, that was their out move. The Bronze looked strong by going over on the Usos, who managed to get through the match with cooperation. Now, I know you said there would be some dissension in the Usos last week, but there was no dissension. And LA Knight didn't really get directly involved. He had a couple arguments here and there, but that's pretty straightforward affair. So, yeah. Who'd you pick to win that one, Vic?
Well, I picked the Vision.
Yeah.
All right, you're 1-1.
What, did you pick the Vision as well?
Yes, I think I said the Bronze. Yeah, I don't write mine down. I don't think mine's that important to, but I think I remember saying the Bronze would win that one.
Okay. Following this, we have for the vacant Raw Women's Championship, we have Stephanie Vicaire versus Io Sky. Now, this started off really well. We got some great one-upsmanship from the beginning, and Cole said it well. They're both evenly matched. The first half of the match was them just trading offensive holds and moves and just doing some good stuff. It was fun to watch. But then Io hits this butterfly backbreaker move, and then she just collapses, which I thought was freaking hilarious. I had to write that down. I don't know if you caught that bit where
Io hits I literally wrote Io hits a nasty backbreaker on Vicaire, and both women collapse from exhaustion.
Yeah, it's like she hits the move. It's like she's gonna celebrate for a second, but then just dies.
Yeah.
Anyways, as mentioned, they went back and forth, a little tit for tat. And you're gonna hit a suplex, I'm gonna hit a suplex. You're gonna do a high flying move, I'm gonna high fly. And they kept teasing the Devil's Kiss. I think it took her 3 attempts before we finally got it. And then Wade called it bouncy bouncy, and he said he'd love to smooch with the Devil's Kiss. Cole was like, what? Anyways, Stephanie busting out the corkscrew moonsault to win was a great way to end this match. These two pulled out all the stops. Fantastic match. Stephanie looked like a big star coming out of the end of this match, which we both said I think she was destined for. And one final quote from Wade Barrett: Stephanie has that new car smell. And I'm gonna say right now too, my Stephanie Vicaire right now is my absolute favorite Chilean wrestler.
Okay. I don't know how long that list is, Vic.
Well, you just made the list. Anyways, what about you, Mr. Mosley? Were you as high on this match as I was, or was it the shits?
Oh, this match was incredible. It was incredible. It had everything. Both women were at their best. Lots of big moments, near falls. I can't say much other than this was one of the best women's matches I've seen in a very long time, and I'm very happy that Stephanie Vicaire won. And I'm pretty sure I assumed that she would. Vic, I don't know if you were so lucky. I think you had this big...
I did. I had a vision, no pun intended.
You had a vision.
But it was not meant to be, so...
Yeah, you said,
let me have it.
Well, let's talk about the vision for a moment. You said that Io would win the match, and she would go on to face Rhea at Crown Jewel in Perth, and Rhea would then win the title from Io. I said that Stephanie would win. She would go on to face Rhea at Perth, at Crown Jewel in Perth, and she would beat Rhea. So that remains to be seen, I think, what is going to... Well, she's not going to go and face Rhea, is she? Because at Crown Jewel, we forgot about the women's Crown Jewel champion, the prestigious women's Crown Jewel championship. Oh, that's ass. I really would rather see her face Rhea.
Rhea and Io, they're all out of that title. They're all out of that prestigious women's Crown Jewel title, man. Yeah. They're going to have to wait another year, I guess, before they can chomp at the bit for it.
Oh, well. Well, Vic, I hate to do it to you, but...
Damn!
Man.
I got to hit you
Hopefully it's the last one of the night.
Let's hope so. So far, you're 2 dams and 1 for Wrestlepalooza. So after this match, I'm going to take over the rest of it, right, Vic? Is that what we agreed on? All right. There's a lot There's a lot left. All right, hold on. Let me get back to where I was here. All right, so then we get a match, a very hyped match. This was the best built match of any match ever in the last, for as long as I can remember, and it was AJ Lee and CM Punk versus Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch. So I think this was the match that I was personally looking forward to most for this event. Punk comes out wearing a jacket with AJ's husband on the front. Nice touch. The crowd's chanting AJ Lee, and Rollins holds his hands over Becky's ears in the ring while they're chanting for AJ Lee. I thought that was funny. All right, so then the match starts. Seth and Punk started out. Becky tags in before any offense can happen, so AJ comes in as well. Becky hits a cheap shot to Punk on the apron and quickly tags Seth back in. Becky and Rollins kiss on the outside, but Punk comes flying with a suicide dive to Rollins. The men fight out into the crowd for a moment before returning to the ring, with Rollins shoulder thrusting Punk into his corner and Becky sneaking in a choke on Punk with the ref's back turn. This is a common theme throughout this match. Becky's sneaking in every hit she can get on Punk. On the opposite side of the ring, AJ grabs Rollins in a similar way. Punk is now on offense. Several big axe handles from the top rope to Rollins, the last of which is countered into an attempted pedigree. But Punk gets away as Becky sneaks in a kick to Punk, then driving him into the steps on the outside. Back in the ring, Rollins continues the offense and Becky continues sneaking in cheap shots. It is here that I notice a nasty bruise forming under Rollins' ribs, and I'm not sure what that's from. I don't know if you noticed that, Vic. He had a big spot on it was right under his ribs on his side. I'm not sure where that came from, but it looked like it did not feel good. Punk finally gets a tag to AJ, but Becky runs in just before, distracting the ref, and therefore the tag didn't count. Punk dodges an attack by Rollins, and he accidentally hits Becky, sending her outside. Then Punk avoids another attack by Rollins, avoids another attack, and Rollins goes flying outside himself. Just when Punk is about to tag AJ in, Becky knocks her off the apron from the outside. So we're waiting for this tag to AJ. Everybody wants to see her get in, get her hands on Becky, and they're doing everything they can to keep that from happening. Rollins goes skipping around AJ on the outside before returning to the ring and getting a GTS from Punk. Both men collapse afterwards. Punk goes to tag AJ, but Becky goes in and grabs his foot to stop him. Punk finally makes the tag anyway, and AJ Lee finally gets in the match. She hits a couple Thez presses on Becky and fires away on her. Does some mud hole stomping in the corner and gets some mounted punches in as well. AJ hits a flying crossbody from the top, but only gets a 2 count on Becky. Cole mentions that Becky Lynch has never won a match in Indianapolis at this point, and I thought that was interesting and had to make a note of it. Let's see. Rollins enters the ring. God damn, I got so many notes for this freaking match. Rollins enters the ring, gets several slaps from AJ. AJ gets Rollins by the head. So I'm going to try to skip through this a little bit. And just sort of skip to because I've got a lot of play-by-play on this, and I don't want to go over the whole thing. There's a lot of back and forth. We'll use that old phrase. I like that phrase. There's a lot of back and forth going on. There is a moment where Rollins and Becky hit stereo pedigrees on Punk and AJ. Thought that was neat. But Becky only gets a 2 count. Becky and Rollins attempt stereo GTSs on AJ and Punk, but they are countered. And Punk hits a stomp to Rollins. Becky starts slapping Punk, ends up getting Punk in a sharpshooter that gets reversed into one of his own. Rollins is back in. He hits Punk with a pedigree and a stomp, but AJ hits Rollins with a stomp to save the pin. That was cool. All right. Becky hits AJ with a manhandle slam, but only gets a 2 count. Everyone is brawling, pulling each other apart outside the ring. AJ and Punk clear both announce tables. On the tables, Becky pushes AJ into Punk and Rollins on the other table, and they all go crashing through. That was a wild moment. The gals get back in the ring, and AJ Lee gets Becky in the Black Widow, to which Becky Lynch taps out. Wow. What a book and a half that was. I thought this was a fantastic match. It over-delivered. It really did. It went above and beyond what I thought it was going to. I was getting kind of worried because AJ wasn't getting in the match so much throughout the first little bit of it, but when she finally did, man, she did great. And big props to her. She looked absolutely incredible. The crowd was chanting, "You still got it," at one point early in the match, and for my money, AJ never lost it. And I'll even say she outperformed anything I remember her doing in her heyday with this match. I don't remember a thing she did. I'm not going to say I don't remember a thing she did, but specifically, it's hard to remember. I'm going to remember this one for a while. It was a great match. Vic, what do you say?
Agreed. I thought it was great. I had a lot of fun with this. I will say this though, this had at the beginning of this had an old school feel to it, where the babyface, in this case CM Punk, is taking a beating and selling for the heels and keeps fighting to make the hot tag to AJ, while Seth and Becky just keep using heelish tactics to prevent the tag. Which it's funny. While I was watching, I'm like, this is going on for a long time. But this is but it was only the first half of the match. And the second half of the match made up for it big time. So I wrote that off. I thought Seth attempting to press slam Becky onto Punk was hilarious. AJ finally getting the hot tag, and really lit up the crowd. No pun intended there.
Mm-hmm.
Besides the slapping, yeah, AJ looked great. There was this moment where she was delivering these slaps to Becky, which looked terrible. But other than that, she looked great. The tornado DDT where she used Seth to elevate herself was pretty smooth. The combination Black Widow and Sharpshooter that the babyfaces did was fun. The heels did their own their own stuff too, like you said, the pedigree. And then AJ locks in the Black Widow on Rollins, and then followed by Becky locking in the Sharpshooter on Punk. It was fun. Yeah. Good stuff. Yeah. And then AJ hits... when she hit Rollins with the stomp, next thing a day later, my feed is full with memes with that picture. So I guess that left quite the impression. But yeah, like I said, I had a lot of fun with this. I was hooting and hollering, a lot of hot dogging and grandstanding. It was a good time. I didn't really at the end. I forgave the length of this match because I thought it was fun. It was a good time.
Yeah. What about the memes of AJ Lee putting Seth Rollins in the Black Widow?
I don't know if I saw any of those.
But you need to see some of those. Yeah, those are the ones I saw.
Okay. You'll send me some later.
Yeah, I'll send them to you.
All right, cool.
So, yeah, great match. Moving on from this was a big surprise. We hear a gong, the old familiar gong. And actually, I got it on here, and I originally got this to sort of call attention to, hey, the show's about over, but we haven't really used it in a while, so I'll use it here.
All right, good singing, Mosley. I'm sorry.
It's like a dog. It's like training a dog. No, but we hear the gong, and yeah, and then we hear the American Badass music, and here comes The Undertaker. And he rides to the ring on his motorcycle. The camera pans to Stephanie McMahon, who's sitting in the front row. And it's odd because the camera's paying a lot of attention to her. It's like going on for too long. And Taker parks his bike right in front of her. He gets up, has a microphone. He asks if he can sit next to her. Sits down. Says she was at a fight last week that he was at, and now she's here at Wrestlepalooza, and he asked her if she's following him. I don't know. It was some weird little things. I don't know. I really think that she didn't know what was coming here, and he was just kind of cutting up to lead into this, kind of surprise her. But anyway, big announcement. The Undertaker announces that Stephanie McMahon will be the first inductee into the 2026 WWE Hall of Fame. And I totally wasn't expecting this. I thought Undertaker was coming out to announce the attendance. And but Stephanie looked genuinely emotional and surprised by the announcement, and I think she deserves it. So hell yeah for Stephanie McMahon. What do you think, Vic? What do you think about all this?
Cool. I mean, I was really surprised that they announced the first inductee in the Hall of Fame this early. And if you told me to pick, look in the crystal ball and pick, 10 people who are going to be in the Hall of Fame, Stephanie McMahon would not have been a choice.
Yeah.
And that's not to say she's not deserving of it. I didn't think she'd go in. She's the first McMahon going into the Hall of Fame, right? Unless
her
you,
grandpa went in 95 or 96 or something like that, I read.
Yeah. Vincent J. McMahon.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, cool. I mean, I don't really have much to say about it. So, yeah.
Oh, yeah, I think she deserved it. I mean, if you look at some of the people they've put in the Hall of Fame, especially in terms of women recently, Michelle McCool, really? They did that for The Undertaker. I mean, come on. But I think Steph deserves it, man. She was involved in so many big moments there in the Attitude Era. She had a lot of good, she was all over the place. And the marriage with Triple H, and there was the wedding with Test that he ruined, and he's like, not did we, but how many times did we consummate the marriage? And Vince McMahon's blowing up.
Yeah.
Oh, man, that was classic stuff.
He just drugged her, took her to a drive-through, and they got married.
Yeah, he's like, I do. That shit wouldn't fly these days.
No.
But no, that was such good shit. And like, even following that for years, maybe you didn't see her for a while, but she would come back and she did, I don't know. I think she deserves to go in the Hall of Fame as much as any woman in the company in the last 20 years. So
it's got to be Triple H that inducts her, right?
I would.
Anybody else come?
Yeah, no. You know what? She should get Vince to induct her.
Yeah, right.
Maybe Linda. I don't know. Yeah, it's got to be Triple H, I think. You know.
I mean, if it's not Triple H, and if it's not a member of the family, who the hell would it be?
That's a good question.
I mean,
if it's not over, it could be Undertaker. Maybe Kurt Angle. Since she had an affair with him that one time.
Yeah. Yeah.
She should get Kurt Angle. They should come out and make out and be like, "It was me all along."
He pulls out the milk cartons and starts, toasting them again.
Yep, that'd be awesome,
man.
But then we have the big one, Slick Vic. Well, supposed to be the big one. The main event of the night, undisputed WWE Championship. This is Cody Rhodes, the champion, versus Drew McIntyre. And we talked a bit about this one before. And I'll just reiterate here. I think they've done more to build this match during this show than ever before it. Because they were constantly like talking about it and trying to build up. It was kind of like they were trying to make up for lost time. But still, I think that this could be a really big match if they did it right, with all of the history and so on and so forth. Let me just glance over my notes here. I think I can cover this pretty much 1-to-1 here. So, match starts. Cody hits some offense early. He eventually goes for a Cody cutter, but trips before he follows through, which looked botched, but Cody keeps holding his head like something is legit wrong. Vic, did you catch that?
Yes, I actually do have that too. I'm like, what the hell happened when Cody went for the first springboard cutter? It's like he tripped over himself, because I was thinking, was Drew supposed to trip him but forgot his cue? It just looked like, Cody just fell to a knee, and he just stood in place for a solid 5 seconds of awkwardness.
Yeah.
Jesus!
That's what I thought.
Indeed.
I thought it was a botch, and then I thought he was holding his head, and then the announcers were saying something about how he got kicked in the head, and maybe he was feeling the effects from that. I thought they were trying to write it off, but like he actually just botched it. But anyway, Cody hits a suicide dive to McIntyre, but a second is caught as Cody is slung across the announce table. This was outside the ring. Then they get back in the ring. McIntyre keeps on the offense. Wade Barrett mentions a stomp to the head on last night's SmackDown by McIntyre at some point earlier. Yeah, so there you go. McIntyre hits a reverse Alabama slam onto the steps outside. I put reverse. I think they called it an Alabama slam, but it was a reverse.
Yeah.
He had him flipped around the other way.
Either way, Bob Holly would be proud, according to Cole.
Yeah. He rolls, outside, rolls Cody in, but only gets a 2 count out of this Alabama slam in Indianapolis. Cody meets McIntyre on the top rope and hits a superplex on him. The two exchange blows, which Rhodes gets the better of. Cody hits a disaster kick, followed by a Cody cutter, but the attempted crossroads is countered, and McIntyre is back on the offense. McIntyre hits white noise from the top turnbuckle, shades of good old Sheamus there, but only gets a 2 count. Rhodes counters the Claymore kick into a super weak powerbomb for a 2. Did you catch that one, Vic? It's just like he laid him down. It was... that one fly over your head.
Yeah.
So...
Blinked and I missed it.
Yeah, so Drew went for a Claymore kick, but Cody ducked it and picked him up. He was supposed to powerbomb him, but he looked more like he laid him. It looked like shit.
Yeah. I remember now. Yeah.
Cody got the figure 4 leg lock on Drew, but he broke out eventually. McIntyre moves the top turnbuckle pad, but ends up running into the buckle himself, which leads to Cody hitting a crossroads, but only gets a 2 count out of it. Gotta love these finishers. McIntyre hits an impressive flipping attack over the top rope to the outside, then throws Cody back in the ring. McIntyre hits a Claymore kick, but only gets a 2 count. Outside the ring, McIntyre tries to kick Cody's head through the announce table like he did a couple weeks back on SmackDown, but Cody moves and McIntyre goes crashing through the table. Back in the ring, McIntyre hits a Glasgow kiss and attempts a Claymore kick, but his ankle gives out, allowing Cody to hit the crossroads for the win. So I think, Vic, that only took 2 crossroads to finish that one out, and I don't know how many Cody cutters and other things they had to do. But I thought it was a fairly solid match. I enjoyed that McIntyre was throwing everything he could at Cody to no avail, making Rhodes seem near invincible. I also enjoyed the throwback to the announce table spot from a couple weeks ago that backfired and cost McIntyre the match. I almost wanted to see a surprise win here, though, and thought we may get it with the early selling of the head injury in the match. Whenever he tripped and he was holding his head, I thought, maybe this is going somewhere. Maybe this is going to cost him. But either way, this was, again, a fairly solid championship match. I can't say that it was match of the night or even close, as most matches on this card were truly incredible. And really, I mean, aside from that first one, most of them were pretty damn good. But it was better than, again, the Brock and Cena match. And that was my full thoughts on that fiasco. What do you have to say, Vic?
I just thought it was a good match. I have no, real complaints about it. There was just the whole Cody tripping over, himself at the beginning. I just thought was weird. I guess, yeah, they justified it with, Wade mentioning, that I guess it was the kick, the kick from the previous night, I guess, knocked him loopy. But, the biggest problem I thought was the lack of build. And they followed a really fun tag team match. So that's funny because that's actually why I thought maybe they might swerve us here and have Drew win the belt.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm like, okay, how are they going to follow this? This is there's been no build, but then again, I can use that argument against Drew winning as well, because why would you take the belt off him with such little build, which I think I said in my Slick Fix picks last week.
Right.
So, yeah, pretty good match. Not my favorite match of the night. Not even, but it was good. It was all right. It was satisfactory. Good little bow to end the show, I guess you can say.
It did its job.
Yes.
So, Vic, I think we missed something. Did we not?
Yeah, we didn't say. He didn't give me he didn't give the soundbite from it.
We didn't give the picks for the AJ Lee, CM Punk, Seth Rollins, Becky Lynch match, and that's my fault. I'm sorry, I got carried away. I see all these notes in front of me, and I think, God, I got to get through these. I better start reading them. So we're going to back up just a second. The big mixed tag match. Vic, who did you have to win that one?
I had CM Punk and AJ Lee.
You had CM Punk and AJ Lee to win that one? And I had who? Didn't I
believe you.
Didn't I say the opposition would? Yeah, that is true.
I think you did. You
well,
did.
You know what that gets you, Vic?
Yeah.
So that gives you a yeah. All right. And then, of course, the main event, Cody Rhodes and Drew McIntyre. Who'd you have for that one?
I had Cody Rhodes going over.
Yeah!
All right.
Yeah.
So, what does that bring us to, Vic? There's 1, 2, not three.
I was 3 for 5 that
Yeah,
evening.
that's exactly right. You were 3 out of 5. And, Vic, if my calculations are correct, my friend, that brings you to a 57% correct overall since SummerSlam. That's your total average. You got a 60% on the guesses here at Wrestlepalooza. You are up 1% from the Clash in Paris picks. So you're on the upward swing, my friend. Good job.
Yeah.
For that, we're going to give you a little theme music once again, just because. That's all you get. That's all you get for now. All right, Slick Vic. So the fun continues with Monday Night Raw on September 22nd, 2025. This one also in Indiana, but maybe across the pond or across the creek or whatever it is over there in Evansville. I'm not too familiar with Indiana, so, Evansville, Indiana has Monday Night Raw, 9/22/25. And we open the show with the American Nightmare and still the undisputed WWE Champion, Cody Rhodes. Comes out to the ring, starts talking about the upcoming Crown Jewel Championship match. He's showing off his Crown Jewel Championship ring he won last year's event because they wouldn't let him take the belt home. That's still in Saudi Arabia, I believe. And Seth Rollins' music hits. Rollins heads down to the ring. He's joined by the Brawns and Paul Heyman. Rollins says he's had Crown Jewel circled on his calendar since he and Cody walked out of SummerSlam with the titles, and says their feud is deeper than "May the best man win." Rollins says he knows what everyone else thinks of him and doesn't care, but wants to know what Cody thinks of him. Cody talks up Seth, but says he's made some questionable decisions as of late, pointing to Paul Heyman as one of them. Rollins says the Vision aren't a bunch of goons, but represent the future of WWE, which is spearheaded by himself. Cody asks Rollins how many of their 3 matches they've had has he won, and leaves the ring. An interesting tidbit as well, Slick Vic, back when they were still doing live events, they've actually had like 20-some matches, I think, against each other.
Yeah, I got it right here. Seth is 0-22 against Cody since he came back. I think I saw a graphic on the internet, 0-22.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that's interesting tidbit of information there. But yeah, 0-22. They only mentioned the 3, obviously, the 3 televised matches they've had. And obviously I'm summarizing. This was a lengthy segment here, but it was a solid promo by both men to hype their match at Crown Jewel. Also, it had been a while since these two were involved in anything with each other. So it was a good refresher to have Cody talk about their dealings over the last several years and bring some long-term booking into this match. I'm definitely looking forward to this one more after this segment, so mission accomplished. I had honestly forgot, Vic, about when Cody first came back and he was fighting Seth, and then they had the Hell in the Cell match. Like, I know those are some big moments, but there has been so much going on with these two since then, since they've kind of broke away from each other, that I'd kind of forgot about all that. So now that they reminded me, I'm like, hell yeah, let's go again.
A lot of history.
Yeah. Do you have any thoughts on this segment?
You know what I was gonna say. Well, let me say it was a good promo, and I'm looking forward to the match. But at the same time, it's also like we talked about this with like the Saudi Arabia shows, which in this sense, this is kind of the same thing. It's called Crown Jewel, where this is kind of like a side story that to the main canon that's going on right now. Where after this, I'm assuming Seth is going to go back to feuding with Punk, and Cody's going to have a new challenger for his world title.
Yeah.
So this is kind of like in that where we're now in the side story portion of the year, or of this time of the year.
I got to be honest with you. I mean, I am excited like I said, I'm excited to see this one because of their history, but I do not like the idea of the Crown Jewel Championship. It devalues both titles. just by the fact that it's there, just by the fact that we're going to say who's the best of the two world champions. The idea is that both are the best. Otherwise, why not just have one world title?
Right.
It's so confusing. It's so convoluted. It's so confusing. But I can't lie. I'm excited to see this one. I'm excited to see who comes out on top. I think Seth should come out on top in this one, really, because I think the world heavyweight title needs that bump. And I would love for Seth to be bragging about this for the next year or whatever it is. But then
Seth needs to finally get a win.
Yeah. Yeah, he needs a 1-23. We need to change that record. Forward from this, we are into a match, and it's the New Day with Grayson Waller versus Penta with the War Raiders. So, this match, it had a lot of chaos. All the men are fighting in and outside of the ring. Ivar crossbodies Waller onto the floor, apparently fucking up the LED apron screen, while Penta flies from the ring to the outside, taking out Woods and Kofi. We get a commercial break, and when we come back, tables have appeared in and outside of the ring. Kofi hits a leg drop through Penta on the table on the outside. Back in the ring, Eric hits a double powerbomb on I don't know which two guys. I didn't catch that. And Ivar misses a huge moonsault as the New Day moves out of the way just in time. Kofi charges at Penta and gets slung through the table set up in the ring corner. Penta follows this up with an avalanche Mexican Destroyer / super. I don't like the name Avalanche because I know it as a super. If it's from the top turnbuckle, I call that a super. So I've got Avalanche / super Mexican Destroyer on Waller, which looked incredible, for the win. And this was a lot, but a wild and crazy match that definitely brought the hype up with the crowd. Fun match, and everyone did great, but these matches are just so hard to follow more often than not. It's always great to see the War Raiders fly around the ring like they should never be able to do at their size. Vic?
Well, I don't remember. At some point early in the match, I remember Wade calling. He said something about that tyrant Adam Pearce. I can't remember the context, but I wrote that down. I thought it was hilarious. Anyways, great spot when the heels try to pull off the baby faces out of the ring, but the Woods can't drag Ivar out of the ring. Ivar, just like with his leg pulls Woods back into the ring. I thought that was neat. And a good thing for instant replay, because you mentioned that Kofi did the leg drop through Penta through the table. We missed the first one because somehow like the cameraman got behind another one of the wrestlers, I think. So
missed a
good
spot.
thing for that, yeah. He put him through that beefy. We almost missed him. Put him through that beefy, spicy Slim Jim table. But yeah, the top rope Mexican Destroyer was cool. I didn't think it was as cool as the springboard one from last week. But Penta has now Mexican Destroyer all three of these heels and pinned them. So Monday Night Penta continues. It's good times.
Yeah. Senior Monday Night.
Senor Monday Night Penta.
Vic, we have several segments here, and I don't know how you want to go about this. Do you want me to just go over each of these segments and then you give us your thoughts, because there's like
Sure.
4? Okay. All right, we get a backstage segment. Finn Balor is shown playing WWE 2K on the Switch 2 while ignoring the PS5 with the same game on the TV in the room. And I like that. Dom is asking.
This is why we don't watch sports, ladies and gentlemen. This is because we were caught up in wrestling and seeing which wrestling game they're playing on which console.
Yeah, he's playing it on the Switch, totally ignoring behind him that they just left the PS5 running. So the whole point of this segment, though, Dom was asking for help because Rusev is hunting him down and he's coming for his title, and Balor tells him he's busy to ask El Grande Americano for help. That segues into a backstage segment with Bayley. Bayley asks Lyra to be in her corner later tonight. Lyra is obviously confused at Bayley's overhyped friendliness, but agrees. Then we get an in-ring segment. Adam Pearce introduces the new Women's World Champion to the ring. Stephanie Vaquer gives the general "this is everything I worked for," etc., speech. And then we get another backstage segment with Asuka, where Asuka tells Rhea to stay away from Io. Rhea challenges Asuka to a match, and after that is a match. So we'll talk about these backstage segments. Pretty much said what I thought about the Judgment Day segment. The Bayley and Lyra, whatever. You got Bayley, she's crazy. Multiple personality disorder on full display here. In-ring segment with Adam Pearce and the new Women's World Champion. Vic, I think Stephanie Vaquer is, obviously, it goes without saying, she's great. She's fantastic. She's one of the best women's wrestlers and one of the most over wrestlers, period, I think, right now in the world. But the girl cannot talk worth a lick when it comes to English promos. Her English is apparently terrible, and it worries me a little bit because, she's talks so slowly, and, she talks slower than Asuka in English, it seems like. It's pretty rough. It's not good. As for the Asuka and Rhea segment, my thoughts on that, well, it's been a while since these two faced off. I can't remember the last time, actually. It's been a few years, so hell yeah, it should be a banger. What are your thoughts on all these random segments we get, Vic?
I loved the pickup on you with the game consoles for the Judgment Day. These guys don't know there. These guys are funny. It's good stuff. Bayley's split personality, it's all right. I mean, it's paying off, I think, a little bit now, especially later on in the night. So it'll be. I'm interested. I'm curious to where this is going to go. I thought she was going to be nice the whole night, and then crazy the following week. But no, I guess she's cool and approachable one segment, and the next segment she's crazy again.
She needs some medication.
So then, but here's the thing. Here's my thoughts. We love Stephanie Vaquer.
Yeah.
I don't have too much of a problem with her slow English. I'm getting a little tired of the whole. I worked so hard for this. I'm like, you look like a badass. Be a badass. Stop being so humble. Just go out there and kick some ass.
There you go. Very good point. Because she comes out with the badass interest, the badass music, the horns, the badass look. And she's just, I get you. Yeah.
Oh, and then the backstage segment with Rhea and Asuka. Man, they need, it's like going back to, well, this is more for when the Kabuki Warriors and Io Sky are together. Maybe we should get some subtitles. It'd be kind of fun.
We need Jim Cornette.
And I don't mean like that in the mean spirited way. I mean, like, give us some subtitles. I'd love to know what they're saying. I genuinely want to know what they're saying.
Yeah.
I don't speak Japanese. That
would be, they definitely need, if they're going to keep talking in Japanese, we need to know what they're saying here.
Right.
Let's go on to the match, though. Bayley versus Roxanne Perez. All right, so the match was all Bayley up until Perez tripped her up in the corner ropes and started stomping the leg. Really weak-looking kicks here. We're into a commercial, and back from the break, Bayley is on the offense again, but still selling the leg from earlier. Bayley hits a nice elbow, but the tide shifts to Perez again, who rallies with a series of attacks. Perez hits a pop rocks on the floor to Bayley, who barely breaks a count. Rodriguez attacks Bayley with the ref's back turned. Lyra goes after Rodriguez. Perez goes after Lyra. Bayley snaps at this point and pulls Perez into the ring by her hair, hits her with a Bayley to belly, knee strike, and a rose plant for the win. About as quick and easy as it gets. And then looks like after the match, Lyra tries to hug Bayley, but Bayley shoves her on her ass and yells at her before leaving the ring. So Bayley flipped the switch real quick here. I like the new Bayley gimmick, though. I like the Bayley gimmick that they're going for, but I hate seeing Lyra puss around like this. Not push around, puss around. I just really hate how they're booking Lyra. She should be the one turning heel or getting aggressive with Bayley at this point, but she just comes off as a chump. I'm sure they'll face off at some point, but I don't want to sit through weeks of watching Lyra get pushed around, so Here's hoping it comes sooner than later. Any thoughts, Vic?
It was a decent match, but I just wasn't feeling it. I don't know. Something about this match just didn't hook me. Didn't really care. But I did like the post-match stuff with Bayley turning on Lyra. I thought that was interesting, so I'm looking forward to seeing where that goes. By the way, did you notice last week when Lyra came into the locker room when it sounded like Bayley was talking to herself? Bayley was wearing a jacket that was white on one side and black on the other. Does that remind you of a certain Batman villain?
Two-Face.
Exactly.
I didn't catch that at the time, though.
Yeah, I didn't catch it either. Actually, it was my wife who caught that. She's like, "Hey, look at that! Doesn't that look familiar?" I'm like, "You're right."
Ooh.
And then for this match, she was wearing a white boot and a black boot. I don't know if that's just part of her costume or her ring attire this time, but I'm like, I think she was trying to tell us something here.
Yin and yang.
Yeah.
Got it. Yeah. Interesting. Yeah. Very subtle things there by Bayley. Hopefully it was intentional that way. That'd be cool.
Yeah.
We'll say it was.
Yes.
Then we get a backstage segment with Jimmy Uso. Jimmy's asking Cody Rhodes if he will talk to Jay if he sees him. And that's it. Later on, they do. I don't think I notated that.
Sorry, your delivery there just was funny.
Yeah. I mean, it happens. I didn't actually notate when it happened later, though, where Cody runs into Jay and he's trying to give him a pep talk and all that. It's stupid.
Yeah.
Match. Rusev versus JD McDonough. Wow. Okay. JD puts on a hell of a performance here, and he really always does. These are more thoughts than anything. I don't know if I have play-by-play of this one, but JD, I mean, he seems to always go above and beyond his matches, and they're always exciting to watch as a result. And similar to last week, Rusev gets beat on for 95% of the match, only to hit a couple moves to claim a win at the end. Machka kick, followed by the accolade, secures tap-out victory for Rusev. So that's summarizing, but really, I mean, guys, this you should go watch this match. This was really good. JD puts on JD's one of the hardest workers, I think, in the company right now that I can think of. Like, it's crazy how over the top he goes in these matches, and hopefully he gets something out of it. Let's see. The tap out victory, Dom starts to get in the ring. This is after the match, after the bell. Well, it's actually just before the bell. Dom starts to get in the ring to break the hold before JD could tap out, but he freezes on the apron, and then, you get the tap out. Balor takes out Rusev post-match and balls Dom out for not helping. This is just further dissension in the Judgment Day, or more so Dom's position in the group. It seems like Dom is on the chopping block with the rest of the group, but what does a Judgment Day without Dom look like? I wouldn't mind seeing the group finally call it a run and part ways. Roxanne and Raquel pretty much do their own thing anymore anyway. Balor needs to go back to his own character and bring back the demon. And Dom just needs to go on his own and be Dom and build himself up without help, I think, if he wants to be considered a legitimate anything, really. He's holding 2 titles right now, but he always gets help, or there's some shenanigans or something going on. So, I don't know. Any thoughts on this one?
I agreed with what you said about JD. The man, he had his working boots on tonight. He was all over the place. And I wanted to say they put on a pretty decent David and Goliath match, but it was, like I said, like 90% JD on offense, and then Rusev shrugs a couple moves off and then hits the Machka kick and then the accolade and wins it. I feel like he could take a page out of Gunther's book, because Gunther knows how to like get his licks into while he's wrestling a smaller opponent.
Yes.
Like, I don't know if you've seen his matches with like Pete Dunne or Tyler Bate, or even
way back.
Yeah. Trying to think. He's had some pretty good. What's that guy? What's the Russian guy's name? Man, Ilya Dragunov. They had a good one too. So I feel like Rusev could actually benefit from taking a page out of Gunther's book there. But
Good point.
yeah, okay match. But yeah, JD was great, and I just wish there was a little more back and forth.
All right. Backstage segment. Asuka, Kairi, Io. Io is telling Asuka not to face Rhea. Asuka tells her she doesn't need advice from someone who lost. Another backstage segment. LA Knight is going on about something. That's all my notes for that backstage segment. I don't know what he was going on about.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then we get a match. This is Jey Uso versus LA Knight. Wow, okay. So, I started out my notes on this one saying, well, we are finally settling this score, so props to whoever booked this match. I changed my mind by the end of it. All right, so for the match, Jay was all over Knight from even before the bell. Knight finally fires back and manages to get his ring jacket off. Outside the ring, both men go down and into a commercial. Back from the commercial, LA Knight catches Jay on the top rope, hits the impressive jump to the top turnbuckle, and nails a superplex. But then the two start trading punches? I thought that was stupid. Knight hits a burning hammer on Jay, but only gets a 2 count. That was a nice move choice. I love seeing the burning hammer. Jay hits a super kick to Knight, but only gets a 2 count. Goes for a spear, but it's countered into a DDT, followed by a top rope elbow drop. The Brawns run in, and Knight takes them out, but the distraction is enough to allow Jay to hit a spear and an Uso splash for the win. Post-match, Jimmy heads to the ring with a chair to protect Knight from a beat down by the Brawns. And I wrote, well, I should have known. Fuck the Brawns. This was shaping up to be a fairly solid match with a personal feud, and it gets dumped on by the Brawns. Vic? Your thoughts?
Well, I liked the when they were throughout the match, they were trading punches, and it'd be like yeet, yeah, yeet, yeah. I thought that was fun. But you mentioned the spot earlier. I always get nervous when LA does the run to the top rope because of he's botched it a few times in the past. I'm like, oh man, please don't botch it. I'm like, please don't botch it, because I don't want to see him embarrass himself, because I love LA Knight.
Yeah.
That burning hammer, though, fantastic. Have we seen him do that before? Or was that just kind of it?
I think that's something that he used to use, but he's not pulled it out in a long time. It just made me think of WWF No Mercy. I don't know why. Just the burning hammer, just a random move. That's just, I don't know.
Give you a create a wrestler. The burning hammer.
Create a wrestler vibes.
Yeah. But when the bronze came in, I was kind of like, great. Okay. But this is at the point where I'm kind of like, this feud has been going on for a long time, and it needs a little bit of a shakeup, I think.
Yeah.
I don't know how you feel about that, but I'm like, okay, this is obviously going to continue.
Yep.
So, yeah, well, it wasn't terrible, but I like both guys, so we'll see where this goes. That's all, really.
Sweet. All right. So we got some more backstage segments. First one, Becky's going on a tirade while Rollins just sits there. Becky says she's going to make an example and heads out. Another backstage segment. Io is trying to talk Rhea into not having the match with Asuka. Rhea tells Io to be careful around Asuka, and Io gets upset, saying she wouldn't be here without Asuka, and she calls Asuka family, and then she walks away. My thoughts on that. Look, I'm just going to come right out and say it. Io's promos suck. Her acting is just so cringe and bad, and I know it's like this Japanese anime type thing where she acts like these, anime characters with these facial expressions and stuff. I get that.
I think we talked about this once.
I get that, but it's like, oh man. Thank God she's at least solid in the ring. By the way, Vic, did you ever watch Akira?
No, not yet, man.
Damn!
I deserve that.
You get another one because of that.
I do have a copy. I just haven't got around to watching it yet, and I'll put that on my list next to rewatching Night of the Demons, though.
Yes. Okay. Good deal. We get a little moment where we get some matches confirmed for next week. Intercontinental Championship match, Dom versus Rusev. We're also going to have Bayley versus Raquel Rodriguez, and we also have a tornado tag, the Usos versus the Brawns. So 3 exciting matches to look forward to next week. Well, at least 2 of them. I don't know about the Bayley match. And then we have a pre-recorded promo of Los Americanos, where it's just talking about all the grandes that we have these days. It sounds like
so much influence.
It sounds like
so much influence.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say it sounds like a Taco Bell menu. Backstage segment. AJ Styles and Dragon Lee tells Adam Pearce they want Los Americanos in the ring next week, so conveniently placed after this Los Americanos promo thing. He asks which 2, and they say whichever, and he makes it official, but doesn't really say which ones they're going to get. Vic, do you have anything to add on this EO and Los Americanos and AJ and all this crap going on?
Rhea has some very impressive traps, rhomboids, and lats. You know, we saw her doing the resistance band, and I was intrigued.
Yeah. Nice take.
Anyways. And then I think we're gonna talk about AJ Styles briefly after we cover Raw, because there was some breaking news today regarding AJ Styles.
Was there?
But yeah.
Oh, I didn't know.
We'll talk about it.
I still got to get me a breaking news soundbite. It's like dun 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 dun. You know, like some kind of little
glass shatter because it's breaking.
Yeah.
All right. So, but yeah, I mean, you know, AJ and Dragon Lee they're making demands. Okay, cool. But yeah, that's pretty much all I got to. I don't have much else to add about that. So
no, it's kind of lame.
Moving on.
It's kind of lame. Well, let's move right on to the main event. It looks like Asuka versus Rhea Ripley. This is a match that I think they said the last time these two were involved in a match with each other was like 2022 or something. You know, it's been a while. But as for the match itself, Asuka was pretty much all over Rhea for the first half. Right through the commercial break, Rhea keeps fighting back. But Asuka just keeps pouring on the offense. Rhea finally gets the upper hand with some sweet clotheslines and a bridging belly-to-belly suplex, but only gets a 2 count out of it. Asuka starts targeting the leg and gets the advantage again. Some more back and forth leading to another commercial break. Then Rhea on the advantage out of the break. Rhea hits a superplex to Asuka that doesn't quite go as planned. Asuka lands before Rhea, and that kind of looked like it could have been bad. Asuka gets several more big rounds of offense, but can't keep Rhea down for the 3 count. Asuka goes for an attack off the top turnbuckle that gets met with a drop kick from Rhea, and the crowd starts to chant, "This is awesome." By the way, I'm summarizing. This really was an awesome match. Kairi starts to get involved, but Rhea catches her, then moves out of the way as Asuka tries to hit a running ass bump. I don't know what that move's called, so I call it a running ass bump. And it hits Kairi instead. Rhea follows up with a good old roll-up for the win. Schoolgirls her for the win. Post-match, Asuka hits Rhea with the poison mist, turning Rhea completely blue. Io comes to the ring to stop the Kabuki's beat down on Rhea, but gets a spinning backhand for her trouble. So, we finally see Asuka turn on Io here. Despite only a couple of rough spots, this was a great match. It was hard-hitting, everything looked great from both women, and each got their shit in. I think Rhea really is, pound for pound, the best female wrestler in the game today, and her popularity is well-deserved. Asuka, goes without saying, she's fantastic. Her kicks always look so damn good, and I love her current crazy gimmick with the clown makeup, and I don't know, she just pulls it off very well. The Poison Mist is a classic that I love to see as well. I've never been able to see exactly how that trick is pulled off. Asuka finally turning on Io was a breath of fresh air. Thank God this feud is finally moving along. But boy, oh boy, she hit her with that mist, and it turned her blue from head to toe. That must have been a massive whatever. Like I said, I don't know how the trick is pulled off. I don't know if she sticks something in her mouth or if she has something in her mouth or how that exactly works. But she turned her into a Smurf, Slick Vic. What do you think about this main event?
I thought it was great. I thought it was a good one. I thought Stephanie and Io was better, but this was still really good. And you mentioned this earlier. I think Rhea Ripley is fantastic in the ring. I don't know if she gets the love and praise she deserves because she's great. I mean, she's got an amazing look. She's really over with the crowd. She's really popular on the internet. But yeah, her in-ring work is also stellar. So
yeah, it looks so good. Everything she hits is so on point and looks like she brings the absolute fucking Armageddon with it. Every punch she throws, it's crazy.
Yeah,
she's throwing nukes out there.
And Asuka's the same way. Asuka's fantastic. Asuka's always been really well regarded, and this is actually a rematch from WrestleMania 37. What's it called? Rhea Ripley dethroned Asuka for one of the women's titles that night.
That would have been 2022.
It was 21. There's post COVID Mania.
That was at the Performance Center Mania?
No, that was the one afterwards. That was 2021.
So
2020 was in the Performance Center.
Okay, I was thinking 2021 was in the well, did they face off in 22, or maybe I got my numbers incorrect? So the last time they fought was
I think they did face again, but they did actually have a match at WrestleMania 37.
Okay.
That was a moment.
Yeah.
Anyways,
sweet.
Good match. I think this sets up a tag team match for Perth, Australia. With Rhea and Io versus the Kabuki Warriors. Do you think that's going to happen?
Absolutely. Yeah. That's got to be where they go with it. Yeah.
Yeah. So we talked about our long-term booking plans for Stephanie Vicaire and Io Sky, but we were both wrong.
Yeah, we
on both accounts. Well, we can't get them all right.
Oh, it happens. It happens.
There's no Hulkamaniacs here.
Well, you know what that sound means? That means there's no Hulkamaniacs here, and this sound means I finally used it. That we're closing the show. That looks like that's all we got for everybody today. We had a lot of wrestling. Usually when we have a PLE to cover, it takes up most of the show. So no special events tonight. Maybe next week we'll bring back some of the old gimmicks.
Well, can I interject?
Yeah, we still got time. I mean, this is last call, but you had something that you wanted to say about AJ Styles, some breaking news.
Yeah, this was reported earlier today that AJ has announced that 2026 will be his last year wrestling.
Wow.
Yeah.
Where did he announce that?
Well, I see it on CBS Sports. I see it on Cage Side Seats, Bleacher Report, ProWrestling.net. I just went into Google right now and typed in AJ Styles and switched over to news, and it's trending.
Wow. I'm going to have to do that right now.
Yeah.
So, in other words, in 2027, he's signing with AEW.
And possibly. The quote here from the headline says, he'll retire from WWE in 2026 before my body can no longer move.
Well, he's put
AJ is 48 years old.
You know what? He should go ahead and call it. I think he's making the right choice here. And if he says he's going to retire in 2026, he could make that a hell of a year for himself, and he could make it a hell of a year for whoever he puts over. So yeah, hell yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll get the AJ Styles retirement tour.
I don't know if it'll be as grand as John Cena's.
Have Brock Lesnar come back and squash him.
Maybe bring out some old TNA opponents like Samoa Joe's in the other company right now.
They added his TNA look and music to WWE 2K25, but he still has the same like entrance taunt and stuff. So it's weird because he does the whole thing where he throws his hood up when he first walks out, but there's no hood. He does it anyway.
That's funny when that kind of thing happens.
Yeah.
I think if you kill the ends, or if you eat the ends bird and then kill him, he holds up an invisible bird.
If you kill,
talking Metal Gear Solid now.
If you kill the ends bird, because I've beaten this game now 5 times, again, the most recent Delta, the bird still shows up as it normally would in the cutscene, but it's a ghost bird.
Yeah.
So you can hold up the end. You can set him on fire with a torch. I never knew you could do any of this stuff, but yeah, you can set him on fire and he goes hot, 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 and he like dances around.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. There's a lot of wild stuff that you can do in that game I didn't know. But I've played it. That's the only gaming I've been doing lately is I'll play Metal Gear Solid Delta because I love it. It's fantastic.
It's great. I love it as well. I'm a huge fan, so
yeah,
I can't wait. I can't wait for the next one. If they, I'm sure they're going to remake more of them.
Here's a question.
So,
what do you want to see them remake next?
You know, personally, I would love to see remakes of those MSX games that never. I mean, what we did get them eventually, but I'd like to see
Metal Gear and Solid Snake. You want metal? You want okay, interesting.
I want those games. Those are canon. Those are pivotal to the story. The big boss dies in Metal Gear 2.
Yeah.
Only to come back in Metal Gear 4, but still those are some pretty big stories, and I think
they said that was Venom Snake, right? In Metal Gear 2.
Venom Snake's in Metal Gear.
Okay. Yeah, that's right. He blows up in Metal Gear 2, but then they are like the Patriots recovered his body.
Yeah.
After he literally explodes on the screen. I've not beaten those games, but I do have the Master Collection Volume 1, and I started to play them the other day just out of the blue. I went in and played a little Metal Gear 2, and I couldn't do it. I'm not used to them, but very interesting games. Yeah.
But if I can't get those, then, give me a remake of Part 1. Part 1's fine. That's probably my favorite of the bunch.
That's your favorite Metal Gear game?
I think so. Yeah, it's the one I played the most. But then again, I don't know. It's really hard to pick because they're like all my babies.
I can't.
Yeah, the first.
I've never beat Metal Gear Solid, but I have beaten. Yeah, I have it. Like I said, I have the Master Collection, so I have it on there. But I have beaten Metal Gear Solid: The Twin Snakes. I had that. I had that on the GameCube, and I loved it. And they've never re-released that.
Oh, that's locked.
I don't know why. Why is it locked?
It's got something to do with the developers of that game. It was Konami. Konami like let Silicon Knights work on it. So yeah. So that game is like landlocked or whatever they call it. It's yeah. Maybe I know they're going to make a volume 2, but I don't know.
I think I read something recently, actually within the past couple of days, where some of the developers said they want to remake one, and that it would be the most challenging one to remake, and that it would not be a 1-to-1 remake.
Yes, I read that same thing too. Yeah.
So that is interesting. But yeah, I'm all for that. But you know what? I would like to see a remake of 2. I liked 2.
Yeah.
A lot of people didn't like 2 because you didn't really play as Snake through a lot of it. So
Part 2 is the biggest mind fuck.
Yes.
Of a game I've ever played in my life, because I don't know about you, but I remember playing that game when it first came out, and I was probably playing. I was on my like 6th consecutive hour of playing the game, and I get to the part where the Colonel's AI goes crazy.
Yeah,
and he calls you and tells you to turn off the game.
Yeah,
and it's like, and then Rose comes in. It's like you'll hurt your eyes. Yeah. Go outside and do something. I'm like, did the game just become self-aware? Because I have been playing for a long time. Like, is it really telling me to like turn it off? And you know what I did? I turned the game off. I really did. I was like, okay. It was like 2 a.m. at that point too, and the game's telling me to go to sleep
Yeah.
or turn the game off. I'm like, oh my God, this is weird.
It's weird when you start going through the doors at the end of it too, and it's like, instead of Hangar, East Wing or something, it's like Main Street, New York City, and the titles change of where you're, because everything's going crazy. Yeah. I thought that was
But I
wild.
love that. I love Solidus Snake.
Mhm.
I think he's a fantastic, sympathetic villain.
Yeah.
Because, you know, I mean, we can talk about Metal Gear all night, but I just want to say what Solid Snake. It's the Solidus Snake, where he's kind of like he's like kind of like the hero of the game, but Raiden is the pawn of the Patriots.
Yeah.
So it's great storytelling, and with the whole Patriots trying to control the internet, it's relevant today.
Yeah.
It's super relevant today.
Yeah. Good stuff. And we gotta have a whole episode one of these days. We're just gonna do video games.
Yeah.
Wrestling with Power, episode 15, video games. Let's talk about everything that isn't wrestling.
Yeah. Let's do it.
Well, we're going to go ahead and wrap this one up, Vic. Is there anything that you'd like to add before we say goodbye?
Other than my usual goodbye, nothing else to say. So I'd like to wish everybody the best in their future endeavors.
I would like to wish everybody to go to facebook.com/wrestlingwithpower. Follow us on there, post comments on the videos and the posts that we make, and engage with us. Talk to us. Tell us what you think of us. Tell us what you think of the content and the show, and how we can improve, or just give us your thoughts. You can also go over to youtube.com/@wrestlingwithpower podcast. You can find it on there. Been putting up the show on YouTube for the past several. I think we have 7, 8, and 9 on there so far. So a little late to the game in getting them on YouTube, but if you're more of a Spotify top guy or gal, we've got them all on Spotify ever since day one-ish over on Spotify. And you can find us on there. I don't know. I think it's spotify.com/wrestlingwithpower. Everything else is something Wrestling with Power, except for YouTube. Remember, it's got the weird, YouTube's got to be stupid. It's got @Wrestling with Power podcast. And of course, with that, everybody stay powerful, and we will see you next time. Adios.